Hello guys, AlexTheGrumpyOne here. I hope you're well. I got episode 4 for you today on the Corvette Stingray 1975 restoration. So today I've decided to do the shock absorbers. I got a pack of 4 of them. They're not brand new. They've been used, but not for long. So luckily, as you can see, even the bushes are still fine. It's definitely better than the ones I got on the car at the moment because they're completely knackered. Some of them are completely dry and the others are leaking badly. So I think this will definitely help the ride on the vehicle. And from what I've seen so far, because I had to remove one, it's quite an easy job. As long as you obviously got your car up in the air, it does help. Comparing to the new cars, I mean, there's not a lot involved. I mean, there's only 2 bolts and 1 nut on the front ones, and there's only 2 bolts on the back ones. So like I said, comparing to the new vehicles, they have to remove half the bloody suspension off and get the spring off and blah blah blah. So it's quite good and easy job to do, and like I say, it's definitely going to improve the drive of this vehicle. So I'm going to do the video on each side. I'm only going to do it on obviously one side on the front because it's going to be the same on the other side, and I'll do the same at the back. I'm going to do only one side, but I will obviously replace the other one as well. So yeah guys, I think I'm going to start with the front one and see how we get on. I'm going to clean everything up and grease it up so none of the bolts and nuts are going to get seized up, and that should make the job a lot easier. Right guys, so from what I can see, there's 2 1/2-inch holding it in. I can't get my brush to clean them up, but I'm just going to spray the thread and hope they will come undone. There you go, that's one out, and that's the other one out. That's brilliant. So from what I can see, the other side got the nuts that are welded on pretty much. On the other side, I haven't got that. On the other side, they either broke off or something happened before. So on the other side, I had to get the spanner on to hold the nut that was loose. But on this side, like I said, they must be the original still on there, so they haven't broken off. Right guys, so at the top, I'm just going to clean the top thread up a little bit. Doesn't look too bad. Spray it up a little bit. There we go. And that needs 14 mil in my case. That fits in there perfectly. There you go. It does help if you hold the shock at the bottom so it doesn't just fall out. And here we got the bush and the top cover. They're going to pick it up in a second. Right guys, so here we got the old shock. Like I said, it has been leaking and the bush is split as well. This is the nut I put it back on. This is the top bits that I took off. Don't forget you're going to have that going under there. When you put the shock back in, make sure you got the bottom plate and the bush on, and obviously the top ones are off. So that's how the new one's going to be going back on, and then you put that on the top like you've seen me taking it off. The other thing I wanted to say guys, I mean, I've cleaned up the thread and it looked alright and it came undone quite easily. What I'm going to say is you got a cut there. You're going to see that it's not even, and in case your nut is stuck on there for, I don't know if you haven't cleaned it properly or if you just can't clean it off and it got seized up for some reason, all you can do is just use some grips, adjust it obviously to the size of it and just lock it on there, and then you can get a spanner and obviously undo the nut that way, which is going to make your job a lot easier, because if not, it's just going to keep on spinning. You're going to spin the whole shaft that goes in there. So that this way you lock it up and you'll be able to undo the nut. Right guys, so now I'm just going to clean it up at the top there and put a bit of grease around it, because this is where the rubber bit is going to sit. And like I said, just put grease or some protective stuff on there to stop the corrosion. There's a bit of grease. That will also avoid any noise from the bushes squeaking or etc. Do the same at the bottom. Right guys, now we can do the same at the bottom as well. Clean it all up. Fortunately, this is the only brush I got today. Probably need a bit of a smaller one to get inside there. Now, like I said, apply a bit of grease on there. Now I can clean the bolts that I took out. Alright, so now I'm just gonna clean up the bolts that we took off from the bottom. Lovely. Right guys, so now we're ready to put the new one in. I've greased it up a little bit at the top, as you can see. So I'm gonna fit that in now. You can see it from this side going up, and now you can fit the top bush and the cover and your nut. Do it up hand tight for now, so it stays in there. Then you can locate the bottom. I'm going to show you now. So now we're at the bottom guys, you will have to push it in a little bit. There's going to be a bit of resistance because obviously this one's actually working. So if you start the bolts up, I'm doing them hand tight because I don't like going with the gun. Just locate it in there properly. There you go, that's tight enough for now. Right guys, so all we got left to do now is just do the top one up. Like I say, in case it gets stuck, don't forget to use the mole grips to do it up. But because it's clean, it should be alright. So do it up as tight as it's supposed to be. Double check that the rubber seals are sitting in properly. And if it starts turning, like I said, put the more grips on it and just do it up tight. Right, so here we got the grips. Just put them on there. Don't put it on the thread, just put it on the end there. It's locked in. Now you're going to be able to get the spanner on there. Yep, that's good. And that's our front shock absorber finished. Right guys, so at the back you got the rear shock there, you got the bolt going through, and you got a nut at the back there holding it in. So we're going to need to undo that, but before we do that, we're going to need to support the stress of the spring at the bottom. Right guys, so to support the stress at the bottom, I'm using transmission jack in my case because I'm on a lift, but if you're working on the floor, use a trolley jack and place it under there, jack it up slightly just to relieve the pressure of the spring that you got there. And the other thing I want to say is at the bottom you got the nut that you have to undo, but it's currently locked in with the plate that you got there, that you bent in. It acts like a locking mechanism on there pretty much. So I have to hit that and even it out before I can undo the nut. So that's the next thing to do. Right, so like I say, the chisel will be better in this, but I haven't got one at the moment. So I'm going to use a fat blade screwdriver and just bend that back. Just enough so you can get the nut undone. Yeah, I'm sure that'll be enough. Right guys, so I can't clean that thread because there's no thread pretty much coming out, so you're just going to get a socket on there with the gun and try and get it undone. Lovely, that's off. That was nice and easy. So now that the bottom nut is undone, we can undo the top one as long as you're supporting the pressure. Just going to clean it up quickly. Right, so let's hold the nut at the back with the spanner. And undo it now. Lovely, that's undone. And the bolt is out. At this stage, we're ready to remove the shock. I'm just going to spray some maintenance spray to make it easier to come off, because the bush is going to be quite tight on there. And you can use either a hammer or something to force it off. So if we move it off of there and release the pressure on the jack, that should be enough. Should make it easier to come off. There you go, that's that off. Right, so we can clean that off now and put a bit of grease on it. Just makes it easy to put a new one on. So here we got the new one. Slide it on there. For now I'm going to put the washer back on and just tighten it up slightly, just to make sure that it doesn't come off. So just do it finger tight. That's on there. And now we can obviously extend the shock out as much as you can, and now we'll have to compress, like I said earlier, we'll have to compress it using the jack so it goes all the way up in there. There we go. And fit the bolt in. So obviously at this stage you'll have to either jack it up or let it go a little bit so you can get through the other hole as well. I managed to get it in, guys. I had to mess about a little bit to adjust it. I had to lower it down slightly and then jack it up while pushing the bolt in. And I managed to just get it started, and then I used a little rubber hammer to push it in a little bit, so now I can put the washer and the nut at the back. That's done up. So now I can hold it on there with the spanner. Right, it's done up. Just gonna double check it. Yep, that's tight, that's good. All we got left is the bottom one now. Right guys, so like I said, we can do the bottom one up now. We're gonna sort the torque settings for everything as well. I'm gonna put them in the description below. Obviously for some of the bolted nuts that I got on here, unfortunately the torque settings don't really apply because they're different bolted nuts, and some of the stuff has been changed on there. But I'll put the torque settings that you're supposed to have on it from the factory. So I'm just going to do this up. And then bend the plate so it locks it in. Right guys, so I've bent the plate now on the other side, so it's locked in now. Like I say, you might have a slightly different setup, but in this case, all I had to do is just bend it in and it locks the nut and makes it safer. So the top one is done up as well, guys. So I'm pretty sure the job is done. I would say make sure that the brake pipe is out of the way, because the old one, it was rubber on it, so I had to bend it out a little bit. And I've done all the other shocks. This was the last one I had to do. I mean, it doesn't matter what side of the back you're doing because they're the same setup. So like I said guys, just please make sure that you're safe when you're using the transmission jack or when you're using trolley jack when you do it on the floor. That's the main thing. Obviously be careful please. And yeah, I think that's pretty much job done on the episode 4. So if you enjoyed this guys, or if you liked it, or if it was helpful, then please subscribe to my channel, like my video, and comment below to let me know what you think about this job guys, or if you got any other opinion. I'll be more than happy to see that. Thank you very much for watching this video guys, and have a good day. Bye.